Our little culvert job, and we're gonna wrap this thing up this morning. Really, it's not too much left to do. We just got to backfill around that T right there. It's gonna act as a surface drain. Spread out that pile of gravel. We're gonna get a couple more loads of rock in here, probably 3 or 4 more tandem loads, and gravel all the way back there, up along the building, just really clean everything up nice. So get everything drained into where it needs to. Some of this area over here is going to come into this culvert on this end, and everything else on the backside over there is going to drain to that T, can act as a surface drain. So should be really nice when it's done. I've got the skid loader, and I also brought the Harley rake with me today. And as you guys can see, this rock, or this gravel that we've got here, has quite a few asphalt chunks in it. 2 to 3 inch diameter chunks. Some of them are a little bit bigger. All this material was free to us, and it actually is really great material for making driveways. The only downside is, of course, those bigger chunks in there, you got to work at it a little bit harder to get it cleaned out. With the Harley rake, actually it does a super nice job. Once you get this thing placed, we'll run through with the Harley rake and it'll kick those big chunks out, and it'll just pile them up for us. We'll go scoop them up and probably just bury them somewhere. But overall, super good material. The price was right. It's actually the same material you saw us loading over there with the Volvo. I don't know if you can see it, but that pile's right there behind it. So we don't have far to go. Dad's gonna come down here shortly with the tandem and start loading out rock. So we'll get everything unloaded and we'll get to going. getting there. Pretty close to getting where we need to be at the rock over here at the end of this culvert. And got a little bit more to do in this back corner. Probably 2 more tandems, give or take, maybe 2. And then we'll Harley rake it and scrape the parking lot and be done. Okie dokie, we have got everything pretty much tossed in here. Obviously, a little bit left to do, but we're gonna hit all this with the Harley rake, so it'll take care of that. Most of you guys probably seen these before. My opinion, the single greatest skid loader attachment ever. This thing is so versatile. It does such a good job grading dirt, gravel. I've even used it to clean up sticks before, where there was a whole bunch of trees that went down. Instead of raking by hand this big area, we use this thing. It works really well. So it's raining pretty good right now. So you're gonna get the Cliff Notes version of Harley raking here. We'll do another video sometime, really breaking down and explaining these things. But basically, it's kind of a similar concept to like a motor grader. You've got the wheels that are gonna sit on the ground, and then obviously the skid, and you're grading out over 2 planes, so it levels out a lot nicer and does just a really good job. What it does is this drum spins and kicks up all the rocks, and we'll end up just basically piling them up in a pile and probably scooping them up or seeing if we can bury it. Whenever possible, this thing will run in either direction. Whenever possible, you want to try to run it forwards. It's a lot easier to control. You can see what you're doing. I do run it in reverse with the drum spinning away from you in the opposite direction, and there's a time and a place for that, but generally speaking, I try to run it forwards as much as possible. When it comes to Harley raking, you want to try to run in as perpendicular as you can to your passes. So basically, depending on your site layout, it may not always be feasible, but what we're going to do is we're going to start out running this way. We're going to end up pushing all those rocks forward, probably pretty close to the fence, and then we'll turn 90 degrees and grade it out this way. And so what that does is it evens the planes out, it evens the bumps out, not only this way, but on our second pass we go that way. So that's that. Like I said, this is just kind of the Cliff Notes version. It's raining out. I want to get this done, move on, and we'll do another video more extensive video on the Harley raking. So stay tuned. So as you can see, that Harley rake is doing a really nice job of evening things out, and then it's also grabbing all the big chunks of asphalt and keeps kicking them forward as I push them forward towards that fence. So great tool. It's very, very handy. When you're using it in the dirt, it'll take any rocks or sticks or anything like that, and also pile it up, windrow it however you want. That Harley rake does angle, so a lot of times I'll get into a situation where I want to windrow it towards one side or the other. It works great for that. So you can see how the final product there is very, very smooth. There's no big chunks on it or anything like that. So it just does a great job. Very, very versatile piece of equipment. If I had to pick between all of my skid loader attachments, it would without a doubt be the Harley rake as my #1 pick. And now I'm basically turning 90 degrees, and I'm now going to run perpendicular to my initial pass as much as I possibly can. Now, of course, every job site is going to be a little different. You may not have access to 2 sides or 4 sides of your job, and so you just kind of have to adapt to however you can with the layout of your job site. Luckily, I had 2 sides here that were pretty easy to pull in and out, so I could go almost at a 90 degree from my initial pass, and that just further smooths out that area, levels it off really, really nice. And as you can see, every pass I make, it looks a little bit cleaner and a little bit smoother. So sometimes I get into a situation where I'm unable to be exactly perpendicular. You just want to try to get the as perpendicular as you possibly can with your passes. Sometimes the layout of the area where I'm working, I can only maybe do one angle and then a 45 degree angle to that, and that's okay. Just the farther out you can spread those, the closer to 90 degrees or perpendicular as you can get, the better off and the smoother your product's going to be. In a situation where I had wide open, plenty of room on all 4 sides, I would actually go all 4 directions. So basically come in 90 degree, come in, take a straight shot, turn 90 degrees, and then go back, come 180 degrees to where my first pass was, the 90 degrees basically. So I go all 4 directions, and that smooths out in all 4 directions. Generally, that's not the case. We hardly ever have all 4 sides accessible to where we got plenty of room to get in and work around, but that would be in a perfect world. Alright, that is a wrap on this. Everything graded out, looks great. Dad's finishing up sweeping the parking lot a little bit. Everything drains exactly as it should. Turned out looking good. Get loaded up, move on to the next job. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.